The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. The story opens with a lifeline thrown across the world in the form of a handwritten letter. Ella MacKenzie is a 24-year-old single mother with bright blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and a fiercely protective spirit. After her preppy, wealthy ex-husband abandoned her upon learning she was pregnant, she has dedicated every ounce of her energy to raising her 5-year-old twins, Colt and Maisie. Colt is a ball of blonde, boundless energy who views himself as the man of the house, while Maisie is a quiet, perceptive, and sweet little girl. To provide for them, Ella runs Solitude, a sprawling, secluded bed and breakfast in the breathtaking mountains of Telluride, Colorado. Seeking a safe place to vent her daily frustrations, Ella begins writing to an anonymous soldier in her brother Ryan's Special Operations Unit. She knows him only by his call sign, Chaos. Chaos is actually Beckett Gentry, a 28-year-old Tier 1 Spec Ops soldier with dark green eyes, a muscular, battle-hardened physique, and a deeply guarded demeanor. Having grown up bouncing through a hellish foster care system, Beckett feels entirely unworthy of human connection. But as months pass, Ella's letters become his anchor. Her words pull him out of the darkness, and he falls profoundly in love with the beautiful, resilient woman he has never even met. But fate delivers a devastating double blow to Ella's world. First, her precious daughter Maisie is diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma, an aggressive and deadly childhood cancer. Ella's reality instantly narrows to hospital stays, chemotherapy, and terrifying statistics. Then, on New Year's Eve, uniformed officers arrive at Solitude to inform her that her brother Ryan has been killed in action. To make the isolation complete, the comforting letters from Chaos abruptly stop arriving. Ella is left entirely alone to fight for her daughter's life while drowning in grief. 4 months later, a massive, brooding stranger arrives in Telluride. Beckett Gentry steps out of his truck, accompanied by his retired military working dog, Havoc, a 70-pound, fiercely loyal black Labrador retriever. Beckett hands Ella a letter from her late brother. In it, Ryan begs his best friend to watch over his sister and her children, famously writing, "In case no one ever told you, you're worthy of love, of family, of home." But Beckett harbors 2 crushing secrets he refuses to share. First, he is Chaos, the pen pal who ghosted her. Second, he blames himself for Ryan's death. During a previous mission, Beckett accidentally killed a child in a crossfire, causing him to suffer a psychological break and step off the line. Ryan took his place on the very mission that claimed his life. Believing he brings nothing but destruction, Beckett hides his true identity, convinced Ella would rightfully hate him if she knew the truth. Ella is initially icy and defensive, rejecting the help of this rugged stranger. But Beckett is relentlessly steadfast. He books a cabin at Solitude for 7 months, joins the Telluride Mountain Rescue Team, and slowly but surely weaves himself into the fabric of their lives. He becomes the father figure Colt so desperately craves, teaching the boy how to play soccer, building him a spectacular treehouse, and offering quiet, masculine support. For Ella, Beckett becomes a rock. He takes shifts at the hospital in Denver, sitting by Maisie's bedside through grueling surgeries and toxic treatments, allowing Ella a chance to finally breathe. Despite her vow never to trust a man again, Ella finds herself falling deeply in love with Beckett's quiet strength and unwavering devotion. The fragile peace they build is threatened when Maisie's oncologist recommends MIBG therapy, a specialized, incredibly expensive radiation treatment that Ella's cut-rate insurance refuses to cover. Facing medical bills that will bankrupt her and potentially halt Maisie's life-saving care, Ella is desperate. Stepping up, Beckett proposes marriage so that he can put the children on his top-tier military health insurance. Ella, deeply traumatized by her ex-husband's abandonment, refuses a paper marriage, insisting that vows should mean forever. Instead, they find a legal loophole. Beckett can formally adopt the twins as a single father. To finalize the adoption, Beckett drives to Denver and corners Ella's cowardly ex-husband, Jeff. Using pure intimidation, Beckett forces Jeff to sign over his parental rights and write a massive check for years of unpaid child support. When Beckett returns and presents Ella with her freedom, the emotional dam between them finally breaks. The agonizing, simmering physical tension ignites, and they share an incredibly passionate, soul-bearing night together, confessing their profound love for one another. For a brief, shining moment, they are a perfect family. But secrets never stay buried. An aggressive insurance investigator arrives in Telluride, accusing the couple of adopting the children solely to commit insurance fraud. She demands proof that Beckett had an established relationship with the family prior to Maisie's cancer diagnosis. Left with absolutely no choice to protect Maisie's coverage, Beckett retrieves the wooden box from his bedroom and slides it across the table. Ella stares in horror as the investigator pulls out the handwritten letters and the drawings the twins had sent to Chaos overseas. The realization hits her like a physical blow. Beckett is Chaos. As the investigator leaves, satisfied with the proof, Ella demands to know why he lied to her for nearly a year. Broken and filled with self-loathing, Beckett finally confesses the entire agonizing truth about the mission, the child he accidentally killed, and how Ryan died taking his place. Although Ella tells Beckett that she does not blame him for Ryan's death, recognizing the chaotic tragedy of war, she cannot forgive his relentless deception. She has shared her body, her children, and her soul with a man who looked her in the eye and lied every single day. Devastated by the shattered trust, Ella kicks him out of her life. Respecting her boundaries, but refusing to abandon the children, Beckett moves into a stunning, custom-built log home he had secretly constructed for Ella on a nearby plot of land. They fall into a painful routine of co-parenting. Beckett continues to show up for Colt's soccer games and Maisie's hospital visits, loving them from arm's length while Ella keeps her heart locked away in a fortress of grief and stubborn pride. Months pass, and a miracle occurs. Maisie's treatments work. She is declared to be in partial remission, showing no evidence of disease. The heavy, suffocating cloud of cancer lifts, and the family tentatively allows themselves to feel the sunshine of a normal life. But the universe has a ruthlessly cruel sense of irony. On a beautiful autumn day, Colt's kindergarten class takes a field trip to a nearby mountain trail. While Ella is working at Solitude, the emergency scanners crackle to life. A massive landslide has wiped out a section of the Wasatch Trail, and a child has gone over the edge. Beckett, working his mountain rescue shift, arrives on the scene via helicopter. He finds the terrified class and a weeping Maisie. A little girl named Emma sits in shock near the cliff's edge, clutching Colt's bright blue search and rescue hat. Emma reveals that when the ground gave way, Colt grabbed her and shoved her to safety, plummeting over the 50-foot drop in her place. Driven by pure adrenaline and terror, Beckett and his dog Havoc rappel down the sheer cliff face. Havoc picks up the scent, leading Beckett through the dense, rocky foliage until he spots a patch of bright blue fleece. He finds Colt crushed beneath a jagged boulder the size of a car engine. The boy is pale, cold, and suffering from catastrophic internal bleeding. Using all his combat medic training, Beckett desperately tries to stabilize him, but the injuries are far too severe. Colt's aorta is torn, and he is bleeding out internally. In one of the most agonizing, heart-wrenching moments imaginable, Beckett curls his body around the dying boy. Colt, feeling no pain due to his severed spine, looks up at the man he idolizes. With his final, shuddering breaths, Colt smiles and whispers that he finally knows what it feels like to have a dad. He asks Beckett to tell his mom and sister that he loves them, murmuring, "I got everything I ever wanted," before passing away in Beckett's arms. The devastation that follows is absolute. Beckett carries his son's lifeless body up the mountain, laying him before a collapsing Ella. She is utterly destroyed, screaming in a primal agony that echoes through the mountains. She spent 2 grueling years fighting a monster inside her daughter, only to lose her perfectly healthy son to a random senseless accident in the blink of an eye. At Colt's funeral, held on the small island in the lake beside Ryan's grave, the world feels completely hollowed out. But in the harrowing aftermath of burying her child, Ella experiences a profound realization. Without Beckett, Colt would have died alone and terrified at the bottom of a ravine. Without Beckett, Maisie never would have received the treatments that saved her life. Fate was going to take her son regardless, but Beckett was the grace that gave Colt peace in his final moments. Ella finds Beckett standing by the lake, drowning in his own survivor's guilt. She finally lets go of her anger and her walls, realizing that love is the only thing that can carry them through this unbearable darkness. She forgives him completely, pulling him into her arms and promising that they will breathe through the agony together, minute by minute, day by day. They will honor Colt's vibrant protective spirit by holding on to each other. The story concludes with a bittersweet epilogue 5 years later. Maisie, now a healthy, thriving teenager, rows a boat out to the island to visit Colt's grave. She pours out a bag of M&Ms, updating her twin brother on the family's life. Ella and Beckett are happily married and have welcomed 2 new babies into the world. Though the grief of losing Colt will forever be a scar on their hearts, the family is overflowing with love and light. Kneeling by his headstone, Maisie promises her brother that since she survived and he didn't, she is going to live twice as awesome for the both of them.